Well, hi folks, welcome to another episode of Vern's Misadventures. In this one, I'm going to be messing with this here Epson RX-80. So, Jan Bita recently got one of these, and his argument for getting one of these, if you're thinking about getting a dot matrix printer to use with your vintage computers, was quite compelling. I think the most compelling argument that he made was that Epson still provides drivers for this printer, even today. So this particular one looks to be in okay shape. It's a little dirty. We are going to clean it up. I think we'll just start with a little wipe down with some glass cleaner. I did wipe this a bit when it came out of the box, because I didn't want the filthy thing sitting around my house without wiping it off at least a little bit. So it looks to me like it's mostly here. Obviously it doesn't have a ribbon, right? But I was able to find a couple of ribbons for it on eBay. So there's a couple ribbons for us. Beyond that, I think in order to test it, we're going to need some paper. I picked up just 25 sheets of paper, and that'll be enough to figure out if this thing's going to work or not. And if it works, I'll buy a box of paper. No big deal. But this way I'm not stuck with a box of paper I can't use. Okay. So I'm thinking we take the top off this thing and we kind of clean it out a little bit. Then we can figure out what we got to do to make use of this thing. So, yeah, Jan Bita's was a little nicer than mine in some ways, and worse than mine in others. He had the metal rack that comes with it. I don't know if this ever even had one. I don't see the holes where it would fit on here at any rate. So it doesn't have the rack to kind of guide the paper. Another thing that mine does not have, although it looks like it once had it, it doesn't have the badge that says Epson on it anymore, or the RX-80 badge. So those two things are missing. I don't know, is this broken? I think this is broken right here. Is it a big deal? No, it's probably fully functional, just like this. And so I thought, you know, for no more than what it costs for the price of entry here to get one, why not go ahead and pick one up? Got it on eBay. So one thing that Jan Bita's had these little deals that come over here to hold the paper onto the tractors, and his had the springs broken off of them. But mine are still good, so that's a win. And also I think mine's a little cleaner than the one he got, so that's also a win. Let's get a screwdriver, because as I recall, just take out these two screws, and this here knob pulls straight out like that. So take out these two screws. Well, here we go, we got it. So that's good. All right, with that loose, whoops, gently, yeah, it just lifts right off. Hopefully we don't have too many insects in here, huh? Looks like there's a couple little screws that hold this on here. And if I was to take that off, I could take this and one of my brushes that I use to clean computers, one of my static-free brushes. It doesn't have to be static-free, it's plastic. But I could get one of those brushes and just kind of take it scrub it off in the shower. And I think I'm going to do that, because trying to jam the washcloth or paper towels or whatever in these little notches is no bueno. So we're gonna do it that way. So yeah, we can set that aside there. It's a little dusty in there. Jan Bita used a vacuum and a brush. I guess we could do the same thing, so long as we're being copycats, huh? Anyway, it's so much better than it was. So another thing that Jan Vitas had that mine does not, he had an interface board that was, I guess, for Commodore computers. And that board actually had a 6502 on it. And I'm thinking probably it was a serial to parallel converter. I'm going to go a little different route. I have the Centronics parallel printer interface, right, for the VIC-20 and C64. So I'm assuming it'll work with the 128, although I do not know. We will find out. We probably won't do the 128 today. We are going to hook the Apple II up, because I also got a cable for the Apple II. Now, when I bought my Apple II, it already had the Grappler Plus, and this cable here is the parallel cable for the Grappler Plus. But yeah, this got the Centronics connector for the printer right here, and it has the little connector there that goes onto the Grappler Plus board. So that'll be fun. We'll get some Q-tips. Let's see, here's the print head right here. I would like to clean these rails and put a little bit of silicone grease on them. Yeah, they're a little icky. So we'll do that. Yeah, so we'll clean them with IPA and then we will lube them up with the silicone grease. So I got the silicone grease here, and I have the isopropyl alcohol. Let's push it this way first a little bit, then we'll clean on this side, I guess. Then we'll try to figure out, once we get it cleaned up and lubed a little bit, we will try to figure out how we would go about putting the ribbon on. Since there's no old ribbon to use as a reference, I do have the manual downloaded, so maybe I'll look at that. Alright, so I'm going to take the printer away because we've pretty much cleaned what we can clean on there and lubricated what we could lubricate. It's much better than it was. I'll bring the lid back over here. Oh, okay, it just pushes out. Alright, so there's that. So if we go back to our document here, okay, so there's a few things to think about here when we drop that cartridge in. There's a couple little tabs that got to go in the slots, right? You want the little knob over here on your left side, I guess. The ribbon goes between the print head and the mask, I guess. Put the ribbon between the head nose and the ribbon mask. So there you go. I know I would have screwed that up. So there's a ribbon feeding knob. There's your scale. Yeah. Oh, good. They give you a straight up. They give you a diagram showing you incorrect versus correct. Oh, I see. Yeah, you don't want to put it too high. You don't want to crimple it up at the bottom. You want it to ride right in there, nice and straight. Yeah, there's the separator. I don't have one of those. So this is what we came up with on this. It's considerably better than what it was. It's not perfect. I might have been able to get a little better than what I did if I wanted to really, really scrub at it all day. I don't really want to. So we just accept what we got here, I think. Okay. And so this drops down in there, goes on there. Yeah, I think that's actually pretty decent for what it is. I guess I'll just take that off one more time. Bring the printer back over. Sitting on its cord. Yeah, we got to put the control panel back on there. Yeah, that's not quite right yet either. Yeah, we'll just give this a couple squirts of alcohol here. Kind of clean at it a little bit. How clean we'll get it, I don't know. We'll clean at it. Okay, we gotta put the itty bitties back. Yep. Well, I'm not real sure how it worked, but it seems to have worked. Let's get these screws back in before we can lose those. Tell you what, looks like it's brand new. It's so nice and clean, doesn't it? Well, maybe not quite. It does look better than it did. Snug and snug. Nice. Next thing to do is put this connector back on there. We got some fuzzies. Get those fuzzies out of there. There we go. Okay. So let's see about getting that ribbon on there, huh? Alrighty. It really doesn't seem to want to go. Okay, here it goes. Alrighty. And so drop that down in here, kind of, sort of. Okay, it just popped in. We can kind of see what we got going here. I think that's probably all right. So between the ribbon and the ribbon mask, so that's where it is. I think we should feed a piece of paper in it and do the self-test thing. Huh. Wow, what's all this? Got some labels? Oh, look at that. Halloween happiness. They gave me stickers. How about that? So I gave the knob a quick spray down. We'll give it a quick wipe down. The nooks and crannies where all the major filth would hide. And we put the knob back on. Like so. Okay. Refresher course on how to load paper. Oh my goodness. Really? I should have read more in the manual. That will go there. Does it look like it's straight? It doesn't. It does not look like it's straight. Well, I think it's okay. Alright. Let me just kind of... Yeah, I think it's okay. Unfortunately, we lost one of our pieces of paper already to foolishness. So, I didn't even check to see where that... Okay, that guy's supposed to go in the middle there. And let's see. We'll lock that down. Lock that down. Lock that down. Okay, we'll turn on the power. Alright, no smoke yet. Let's turn on the switch. Oh, we're going to press I think it's a line feed and power at the same time. Alright, well, that's about enough of that. So then we turn it on. Cool. Alright, so here's some things we can tell by what we see here. It seems to be printing okay. It's a little lighter than I would like, but it's totally readable. We could probably scoot this whole mess over a little bit to get it to track a little better. So the margins could use a little tweak. Probably not quite that much. Yeah. Let's see how that is. Okay. I think that's okay. Alright, so let's take it offline. Line feed it. So line feed a line at a time. And form feed should feed a page at a time. And then we'll just form feed from there. Let's see how far it goes. It totally works. Now, what we don't know is if it works connected to a computer. So we're going to test that. We will test that. And you can push down here and just tear all that off. So I got this PDF. I think I saved the URL, and if I did, I will link that in the description of this video in case you wanted to get you a manual for your Grappler Plus. So it says you can install the Grappler Plus in any slot except for slot 0. Well, that's because that's for the 80 column card. Here are the dip switch settings that we'll need to get going on our Grappler Plus. So we'll need a few things for this project, not the least of which is the Apple IIe. This is the Grappler Plus card right here. You can put it in any slot except for 0 according to the instructions. This is slot 0, by the way, where the 80 column card is. And this 80 column card is not the one that originally came with my Apple IIe here. I replaced it with one I bought off eBay that has an additional 64K of RAM. So now this machine has 128K of RAM. So according to the PDF, the first one should be off and everything else should be on for an Epson series. This Grappler card is actually set up completely opposite of what we need here. So lean down towards the top here would be on. It says the first one should be off and everything else needs to be on. So 2, 3, and 4. So let's set that up. So that's off. 2, 3, and 4. Alright, with that done, let's get the cable. So anyway, we need to put a cable on this connector right here. Thankfully, I have just such a cable here. So this has the Centronics, I hope I'm saying that right, on the one end, anyway, where it connects to the parallel printer. And on the other end, it has this connector here. Now, the manual says to attach the connector to where it faces out away from the card. Now, first time I did this, I put this together like so, thinking, okay, it's facing out because the cable itself is coming out away. That's not what they mean. What they mean is this little lump here, the orientation bump deal, you want to put that away from the card. And so whenever you're going to put these things together, whether it be for the disk drive or for this, you want to be very careful to make sure that you actually put it in all of the holes, because it's easy enough to get off either an entire row or get off out of sequence and miss the first couple of pins. So you just want to take a couple seconds to verify that you're actually doing it the way it's supposed to be done. This is already punched out on my machine, but you may have to take this cover off. But at any rate, there it is. Alright, so back where we were, we can put this on again. Right? And we'll just put it in slot 1, because that seems to be the default where it expects, most of the software I've used expects it to be in 1. And so, unless you just like to make changes all the time for no apparent reason, I think it's easier to just put it in 1 where it expects it to be. We'll try and do this part freehand. So there's your connector on the RX-80. It has these metal clips right here that lock it in, and it's shaped in such a way that it'll only go on one way, so you can't put it on backwards or anything. So I'm going to go ahead and connect it. There's no reason to necessarily film that. The printer's on. Let's turn on the Apple II. Printer made a little zap sound. Alright, I don't have a disk selected, so we'll just do a control reset. That'll drop us down into basic. Alrighty, so if we do PR number 1, each time we press enter, the printer responds by feeding a line to the paper. Let's see, what if we write, yep, so the printer should have responded by printing Apple IIe. Let's see. Sure enough, it did it. Awesome. Let's take it offline and we will form feed to a fresh piece of paper. So we go to 5 1/4 inch, and I've installed some printer software under the folder printing, and I got the print shop. So now with that selected, let's restart the computer. And we'll go ahead and go back to the screen capture. Nice. Alright, control Apple and reset. Alright, you go down here to setup. So you got to select which printer you have. I've already had the Epson selected. So you go through this whole list here, find your printer. Mine is an Epson, so we'll select that. Now I want to know what interface you have. It defaulted to Grappler Plus, so we'll run with that. Printer interface is in what slot? Ours is in 1. How many disk drives? 1. Alright, let's see. Oh, we're not online, so we got to check that. Here we go. Let's see. Powered on, selected, online, connected to computer, loaded with paper. Press return to test the printer. Okay, it printed something. Can we see what it printed? Not really. Cool. So return to save setup on the print shop disk. Alrighty, I'm going to do a sign. How about no border? We'll choose a graphic. Down to more choices. want the Apple. Yep. We want the small size. Staggered, tiled, custom layout. Use the arrows and press return to place or remove. Oh, here we go. Only one I want to place on this thing is number 7. And so I guess when it's filled in, it's placed. Let's see. That's the only one I want. And done. We want to use the tech font. And I guess that's all we can put. Apple. Center text top or bottom? Yes. Let's just print it. Thinking again. Oh, I gotta put it back online. Okay. Yeah, so there's what we just printed. Apple. What about that? Well, alright, y'all. Look what we made here. I went ahead and covered that little block I keep in front of the shelf there to keep the Apple II from sliding off the shelf while it's on display. I think it looks kind of cool. At any rate, I think we demonstrated that the printer does work when connected to the Apple IIe. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Hope you got this far. And if you did, maybe you'd like to consider subscribing to the channel. It would really help me out. That's the biggest thing we can do at this point to support this channel and the content that I make on it, is to go ahead and click that subscribe button. Share it with your friends, that kind of thing. Hey, with that said, y'all take care, and we'll see you in the next one.